Let's talk about avoidant attachment personality today. Have you ever met someone who never initiates contact actively? If yes, they might be an avoidant attachment person. When you're with them, the relationship seems great. But once you stop reaching out, they won't contact you proactively either. Maybe such a person is around you, or maybe you are this kind of person yourself. This isn't about deliberate coldness or distance. It's a special psychological pattern at play, which we call avoidant attachment personality in psychology. In simple terms, these people tend to keep their distance in intimate relationships and fear getting too close. But they aren't heartless, they're just governed by a deep-seated fear. Next, we'll uncover the veil of avoidant attachment personality from 3 aspects: behavioral manifestations, causes, and solutions. Avoidant attachers usually exhibit some obvious behavioral traits that make people around them both love and hate, and find them elusive. I think they can be mainly divided into the following 5 aspects. First, they never take the initiative to contact others. As mentioned at the beginning, they rarely make phone calls or send messages proactively. If you don't reach out to them, they may not show up for a long time. However, this doesn't mean they have no feelings when you're together. It's just that they are used to not disturbing others and are not good at starting communication. Second, they are enthusiastic when close but cold when apart. When getting along with such a person, you'll notice a huge contrast. When you meet, they can chat intimately with you, as if you are their whole world. But once you part, they seem to vanish into thin air and become silent. This sudden hot and cold attitude is bewildering. Third, they are extremely independent. They emphasize personal space and freedom. Like being alone, prefer to solve many things by themselves, and are very afraid of troubling others. In the eyes of outsiders, they seem not to need to rely on anyone. And even when encountering difficulties, they are used to shouldering them alone. Behind this independence is actually a wall to protect themselves. Fourth, they are very good at avoiding intimate topics. Whenever it comes to the future of the relationship, commitment or deep emotional communication is needed. Avoidant attachers tend to change the subject, stay silent, or even disappear suddenly for a while. They are uncomfortable expressing vulnerability, and always subconsciously avoid situations that require revealing their inner thoughts. Fifth, they have emotional restraint. Avoidant attachers rarely openly express their emotions and needs. When under pressure, they tend to keep their emotions to themselves and do not seek comfort and support from others. So they are often misunderstood as indifferent and uncaring. Because of the above behaviors, it is very likely to make the other party in the relationship feel frustrated and lonely. When you are together, everything seems fine. But why does it feel like a different person when you are apart? This pattern of being distant and then close is a typical manifestation of avoidant attachment. You might wonder, why do some people develop an avoidant attachment personality? The answer, usually, traces back to childhood experiences and early emotional patterns. The famous attachment theory in psychology points out that the attachment relationship a child establishes with their primary caregiver in early childhood will affect their intimate relationship style in adulthood. Research by British psychologist John Bowlby found that if a baby's caregiver is always cold or does not respond in time when the baby needs comfort, the baby will gradually stop seeking comfort from others and instead suppress their own needs. Over time, the child learns not to cry or make trouble and to rely on themselves. This is the origin of avoidant attachment. Children whose need for intimacy is rejected have to close their hearts and pretend to be strong and independent to protect themselves. In such a growing environment, the child's heart actually experiences repeated disappointment and separation anxiety. In order to no longer feel pain, they develop a coping mechanism. Instead of longing for closeness and then being hurt, it's better not to have expectations in the first place. When they enter adulthood, this mechanism is deeply buried in the subconscious and is automatically activated once they encounter an intimate relationship. Avoidant attachers will instinctively distance themselves from their partners to avoid experiencing the feeling of being ignored or hurt in childhood. It is worth noting that there is another hidden anxiety affecting them, namely fusion anxiety. Fusion anxiety refers to the fear of being too intimate with others and thus losing one's own boundaries. Simply put, once an avoidant person feels that they are going to be overwhelmed in the relationship and lose freedom and control, they will feel uneasy and an automatic alarm will sound in their heart, urging them to step back quickly. Fusion anxiety makes them subconsciously resist intimacy, while separation anxiety makes them resist being abandoned. These two seemingly contradictory anxieties are intertwined, making avoidant attachers' dilemma in relationships. They both long for intimacy and fear it, and they are both afraid of loneliness and dare not approach others. Their apparent coldness is actually an instinctive self-protective reaction deep in their hearts. So how can we get out of avoidant attachment? The first step is to recognize that you are protecting yourself. You are not indifferent, nor are you deliberately distant. It's your subconscious telling you not to get too close, because getting too close will hurt. When you start to realize that this psychological reaction is not your fault, but a protective mechanism, you are already on the path to change. The second step is to allow yourself to have needs. The most common sentence from avoidant people is "it's okay, I'll do it myself." But in fact, relationships are not for self-proving. For mutual support, you can tell yourself, "I can also be taken care of, and I deserve someone to stay for me." When you try to say, "I also want to be accompanied," your isolated island will slowly drift outward and start to approach the warm shore. The third step is to try to express it instead of keeping it in your heart all the time. You can start with a message, even if it's just "I miss you a little." You can also tell your close ones, "I may not be very good at expressing, but I'm trying. You are not unworthy of love. You were just too afraid of disappointment in the past. But this time, you can take it slow and build trust bit by bit, letting love become your sense of security instead of a burden." The fourth step is to get close to someone who makes you feel safe. What avoidant attachers fear most is summoning the courage to approach others only to be pushed away. It's not that they don't want to get close, but they are afraid that their enthusiasm will be misunderstood, their slow warmth will be disliked, and their silence will be regarded as indifference. Therefore, the most important thing is to find someone who truly understands your rhythm. They won't think you are cold because you don't take the initiative, and they won't leave you because you are not perfect. They will say, "I know you have your own rhythm. It's okay, I'll wait for you." The fifth step is to learn to be gentle with yourself. The more you understand your withdrawal, the less you need to use indifference as armor. The more you accept your slow warmth, the less afraid you are of someone seeing your true self. You are not hard to approach. You just haven't been in a relaxing relationship for a long time. You are always shouldering, avoiding, and pretending it doesn't matter. But you forget that you also deserve to be treated gently. Try to say to yourself, "I'm fine just the way I am. I don't need to be perfect or please others." Not all approaches will hurt you, and not every expression will be let down. There will always be someone who approaches you not to change you, but to let you know that even if you are slow, silent, and not proactive, there are still people willing to stand by your side quietly. You don't have to open up in a hurry, and you don't have to pretend to be strong anymore. Take your time. Those who love you will understand all your slow warmth and will quietly catch your belated love and response.